She called the cops on me for moving out. You hear that? Not for throwing a punch, not for breaking a thing, just for packing up my own life and driving toward a new beginning. 5 squad cars, lights blazing, boxed me in while half the neighborhood peeked through their blinds, all because Karen Whitmore, the iron-fisted HOA president, had apparently decided nobody leaves Willowbrook unless she says so. I mean, picture it, I'm standing there, hands up like some fugitive, and she's pacing her porch, clutching that clipboard like it's a badge. But the real twist? She had no idea who was in the last patrol car, and what happened next? Well, it changed everything. Let me back up a second, because if you've ever lived somewhere one person tries to control everything, you're already picturing the type. 50-something, perfect highlights, yoga pants so tight they squeak, a smile stretched across her face, so hard you wonder if it hurts. The day I hammered that for sale sign into my lawn, she appeared like a vampire smelling fresh blood. Thing is, I just landed this dream contract. 5 years supplying organic vegetables to St. Mary's Hospital, which meant I could finally honor my late wife Lisa's wish, keep growing the clean food that helped her fight through those long cancer nights. That little basil plant by the porch, still green, still thriving, was my promise to her, you know? Honestly, I figured Karen would fake a congratulations, maybe toss me some plastic luck. But nope. She sachets over, glances at her nails, and drops her voice to syrup. Moving can be so complicated, Robert. With all our HOA regulations, I sure hope you've read Section 12 about property transfers. Her memory's a steel trap, especially since I'd humiliated her 2 years back in the Garden Wars, when she tried to ban front yard veggies, and I took her to court and won. Since then, I was public enemy number 1, but she was going to make sure I left on her terms, if I left at all. Now, here's what I didn't know. A son Nathan, off-duty cop, stand-up guy, had stopped by the day before, and Karen, ever the hawk, snapped photos of his badge peeking out his jacket, tucking that little tidbit away. Within hours of my sign going up, Karen hit me with her first shot, a $500 fine for my delivery truck, citing some rule nobody'd enforced since Bush was president. I paid up, but when she came to collect, she hissed, "This is just the beginning, Robert. I'll make sure you never leave." Things went sideways fast. My buyer vanished overnight after Karen blasted the neighborhood with an email listing 47 bogus violations complete with doctored photos, just enough truth mixed in to make folks second-guess me. In a matter of days, I went from proud neighbor to total outcast. That helpless, angry pit in my stomach started churning, but I remembered Lisa's words. Fight with patience, not fists. So I started keeping receipts. Every email, every threat, every dirty trick Karen pulled. But Karen didn't work alone. The next morning, my moving company bailed, spooked by some fake legal notice she cooked up. So there I was, boxing up my whole life solo, fighting back tears and cursing under my breath. That's when Maria Rodriguez, quiet, sweet, always kept a wildflower in her hair, knocked on my back door, clutching a battered notebook. "Karen's got Mike watching your house," she whispered. Mike Stevens, Karen's new boyfriend and personal goon, had been creeping around for weeks, intimidating anyone who spoke up. Maria told me Karen had pulled this stunt before. Target families, bury them in fake violations, then swoop in with a lowball offer through her brother's shell company. Maria herself had lost her home bakery to Karen's threats, but now she had proof 2 years' worth of records, every illegal fine, every ugly secret. We hatched a plan. I play along while Maria collected more dirt, recording everything. That's when Karen turned it up, tried to have my produce truck towed, but the driver, bless him, was a regular and left her stewing in the street. Then she called a midnight HOA meeting, just her cronies, and passed some illegal, no moving out for 90 days rule. Maria live-streamed Karen's meltdown to the whole neighborhood, catching her bellowing, "Nobody leaves Willowbrook without my permission." The internet went nuts. But public shame only made her meaner. My garden got trashed, traitor sprayed right across Lisa's basil. Security cam caught Mike doing the deed. Karen even left a red rose on my porch with a note. This is what happens to people who betray the community. Maria called me to her bakery, showing me stacks of documents, bank statements, fake maintenance bills, proof Karen had siphoned $150,000 from HOA funds into her brother's land scams. It ran deeper than I thought. City officials, local PD, all in Karen's pocket, were too scared to cross her. Oh, and her brother-in-law was the police dispatcher, so every complaint about Karen magically resolved before it hit an officer's desk. So I played my part, kept smiling, kept records while Maria built the real case. Karen went scorched earth, cut my power, called in fake health violations, spread rumors I was dealing drugs, anything to spook my buyers and kill my hospital contract. I kept going, writing letters to Lisa, talking to her grave with Nathan, trying to hang on. Then came the breaking point Thursday, mid-July. I tried reasoning with Karen. She met me in her robe, wine glass in hand, face slipping just enough to show the fury beneath. "You embarrassed me, Robert. You made me look weak," she snapped. I pointed out her new rule was illegal. She just laughed, told me to try her in court. Deeper pockets, better lawyers, Robert. Pure venom. But the universe had other plans. Maria's husband, Sergeant Rodriguez, started his own investigation after Karen threatened to burn down Maria's bakery. Nathan saw the viral live stream and came by to help, despite my warnings about Karen's connections. That night, Karen, watching from her car across the street, called 911, claimed there was an armed intruder in my house. 5 squad cars rolled up, guns drawn, lights everywhere. Karen stood in the street, shrieking, pointing at Nathan, spinning some wild story, but this time, the rookies were side-eyeing her. Rodriguez showed up, badge out, voice steady, cutting through the chaos. What Karen didn't count on. The whole thing was live-streamed, neighbors watching, Maria's files in hand. Nathan calmly identified himself as law enforcement. Mike, trying to look tough, let slip his own restraining order for harassment, and Rodriguez arrested him, then Karen, for assault, harassment, and filing false police reports. She tried to bolt, but tripped right into Lisa's heirloom tomatoes, half a dozen cell phones caught every second. And you know what? That was just the beginning. The FBI showed up, flashing badges, asking about a judge involved in a real estate scam. Turned out Karen's embezzlement was just the tip of a county-wide fraud ring, forced foreclosures, racketeering, you name it. My story ended up the linchpin in a federal case that took down dirty officials across 3 counties. The weeks after, a blur. Reporters camping out, neighbors crawling out of the woodwork to apologize, support, or spill stories about how Karen bullied them for years. Maria became the neighborhood hero. Her evidence put Karen away for 4 years in federal prison. The HOA board all resigned, and for the first time, people actually voted, gardens flourished, arbitrary rules got tossed, and neighbors helped each other for once. Lisa's garden didn't just survive, it became the heart of the block. The HOA settlement let me hire other victims, launch a community farm, and donate fresh food to families in need. Nathan set up our security, said, "Mom would have been proud." Even St. Mary stuck by me, more impressed by perseverance than any sales pitch. Best punchline? 8 months later, Karen sent me a note from prison, scribbled on toilet paper with a crayon, still threatening to take back what's hers. The FBI just filed it away, added a smiley face. Sometimes I drive by Willowbrook and just smile. Kids playing in front yard gardens, neighbors laughing, hope in the air instead of fear. Maria's now HOA president, but she doesn't rule, she serves. Lisa's basil is still thriving, right in the center of it all. And somewhere, in an orange jumpsuit, Karen Whitmore is learning the difference between planting seeds and sowing destruction. So, let me ask, what do you do when one person's ego puts a whole community at risk? Do you fight back or turn the other cheek? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's hear your stories, because if it can happen in Willowbrook, it can happen anywhere. And maybe, just maybe, standing up together is how you finally change everything.